Hey guys, how's it going? It's Matt from AverageDudeTV here. This is going to be the first video that we're doing as AverageDudeTV. And today I kind of wanted to do something more related to business. So what I decided to do is I'm going to tell the story and experience of my first business. Which feels like it was a lifetime ago because it kind of was. So I'm 19 years old. My first entrepreneurial experience was when I was 12 years old. I started a company called Matt's Fishing Tackle. And you know, I love fishing. I always went fishing, and I decided that I wanted to teach myself how to make fishing lures. I went online. This was about 7 years ago. Wow. So this was about 2009, I guess. Maybe 2008 even. I went online and I typed, you know, how to make a fishing lure, and I found some forums online, and I, you know, saw what they were doing, and I saw the materials they needed, and I made an account, and I started exchanging with people, and they told me what I needed to do, and I went on YouTube and I watched some videos and all that, and then I finally went out and I bought the supplies. I set up shop in my basement. I got a nice 4x2 foot table, and I started doing it. You know, I was just doing it to learn in the beginning, and I was doing it for myself, and then I said, you know what, I want to sell these. So I heard that there was a fishing flea market going on, and I decided, hey, I want to do that. It's only $50 for a table. I'm 12 years old, 13 years old at the time. So I said, hey mom, would you drive me? She said, yeah. So I needed inventory, and I would come home from school, and every day, the second that I came home from school, I would rush, scramble, do my homework, half-ass it pretty much, and I would sit down there from freaking 4:30 to 8, 9, 10 every single night, and I'd make these fishing lures, and my dad, you know, helped me come up with packaging for them, and we packaged them. And I went to this show, and people were like, how old are you? And you know, everyone else was in their freaking 40s, 50s, 60s, you know, older gentlemen. And, you know, they supported me. And then I said, you know what I want to do? I want to make a website. I'm 13 years old. I don't know how to make a website. So I go online, and this is what's great about online. All this information, oh, how do I do this? It's right there for everybody to take advantage of and grab. And it's really mind-boggling to me. And I taught myself how to make a website using GoDaddy. I made a website. I'll never forget that I went to the tackle store that I was buying the supplies from, and I said, hey, you know, I'm making these to sell. Can you give me a better price if I buy them in bulk? And the guy said, no, we can't give you a better price, blah, 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 blah. We're retail. You know, I didn't know the exact concept of it all. I was learning. And I said, okay. And my mom, I came out to the car, couldn't drive. My mom said, what do you say? I said, he said no. My mom said, let me go speak to him. I was like, mom, don't go speak to him, don't go speak to him. She goes in, she comes out, she says, okay, he said no. And I said, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna get a wholesale account. The guy that they're buying their supplies from, I'm gonna go directly to them. And you know what they said to me? They said, sure, what's your tax ID number? And I said, what? A tax what? What even is tax? I lied to them, and I said, you know, because of my age, because I'm not 18, I don't need a tax ID number. And they bought it. They set me up with my first account. I didn't have much cash to work with. My dad loaned me a couple $100. I think the minimum order was like $500. He loaned me $500. You know, I put this website together, and I, you know, started making this stuff. And then I said, hey, you know what I'm gonna try to do? I'm gonna try to just sell some of these supplies retail as well. And actually, I made my first YouTube channel back in the day. I forgot about it, where I was doing tutorials. I think those videos are long gone, but I was doing tutorials on how to make these flies, and I was pitting them up, and I was marketing, and I was joining all these forums online, and I was, you know, pushing my products, which is why I got banned from most of them, because I was kind of spamming almost, and a lot of people hated me on there. Anyway, this big trade show, I found out it was at the Marriott Islandia on Long Island. I remember it perfectly. It was a 3-day event. It was a Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. I was in 7th or 8th grade. It was $500 for a table. I said, Dad, I need to do this. I need to do the show. Will you please lend me $500? Or he might even let me like $750. I needed some money for materials. He said reluctantly, sure. And I sent a check in for $500, and I said, shit, I need a lot of inventory. So I stayed down there after school every single day for months. I literally, for months straight, making these things, packaging them, getting them ready to go. And I said, oh, I want to sell other things besides what I have, so I stocked up on some supplies that I could just push as is. And I went on Craigslist and I found some guy was selling this old stock of supplies out of his garage, 45 minutes away. My dad drove me over there and I got a bunch of stuff on the cheap. And you know, I left school early on the Friday. They said, where are you going? I said, I'm doing my first trade show. I'm in like 7th grade, you know? And I walk in and, you know, I knew it was gonna be all adults and, you know, of course it's gonna be, you know, I was 13 at that time. And there's like legit companies, man. Like, the flea market's a flea market. It's just a bunch of people selling stuff. This was an actual fishing expo. And there's legit companies in booths next to me, and then me with my homemade pegboard display with my fishing lures hanging on them. And people came by, and what I got was a lot of praise and not so much sales. You know, and I got really discouraged because there was 2 main guys on Long Island that were making fishing lures that did it for a living, that obviously they've been doing it for a longer time than I have. They've been selling it, they have better relationships, and people would go to them more often than not. And I got discouraged. Ultimately, that's why I ended up stopping it, because I felt that I couldn't compete with these 2 guys, which I regret. Competition, you need competition to make you your best. But I was very young at the time and I learned this is the foundation that built everything I know today. Like, that's how I learned about retail, wholesale, tax ID numbers, you know, all these different parts of business. I learned from doing it, how to make a website. And then I got into retail. I got 2 stores. I went store to store. I made a list of stores, 12, 15 tackle stores, and I said, Mom, Saturday morning, can you please drive me to these stores? I really want to try to get my products into a store. And she said, yeah. You know, my parents were extremely supportive, and I'm very fortunate, and I can't thank them enough for everything that they've done, and you know, all the hours, and that's not even about the money, just the support and the time that they paid to help me. So I went to these stores and most of them were like, not interested. And 2 of them said, yeah. They placed their order. I said, I'll have it in a week. Went home, went to work, made them up, brought them back. Had my little Matt's Fishing Tackle little tag on it with my website, mattsfishingtackle.com. And you know, and seeing your product in a store, I mean, listen, I'm a kid. It wasn't a lot of products. The biggest wholesale order was maybe 150, 200 bucks. But it wasn't even about the money. The fact that something that I created by hand was hanging up in the store with my name to represent it. Next to a bunch of other things, most of them are from multi-million dollar companies that have been around for 50, 100 years. It's just unbelievable feeling. Not to mention the feeling that I got when a client, somebody who bought some of my lures, sends me a picture of a 30-pound striped bass and said, hey, I just caught this fish on your lure. And that's a feeling that is the best feeling. It's a feeling of like pure ecstasy that you're doing something that is so valuable, so important, and it just represents you. And that's what I want to do with every single thing that I do. I want to look at, you know, what I'm putting out, and I want to be proud to say, yeah, I fucking did that. This is something that I worked on, that I put my blood, sweat, and tears into. Eventually I ended up closing that business, but let me tell you something. I taught myself how to make fishing rods. I set up another 2 tables. My basement was 4 freaking folding tables next to each other, jammed in the corner with a rod machine on one, bunch of random supplies all over the place. It was like a little mini operation. You know, I'm proud that I taught myself how to do it. I taught myself how to make the lures. I taught myself how to make a website. I taught myself about business, what a markup is, how to calculate your costs. That's why I just entrepreneurship, the concept of capitalism, that's why I'm in love with it. And that's why I push it to everybody, even if, you know, some people aren't as entrepreneurial as others, but I still push everybody to do it. Because regardless of, you know, if you're, you know, a serial entrepreneur, or if, you know, you just flip Nike Jordans or phones, which I do and am currently doing. It's just feeling that you're just adding value to, you're just adding value. It's just a feeling like no other. Then I went into another business where I was buying and selling used fishing reels, and I was resurfacing them, and I was getting parts wholesale from companies and fixing them. I taught myself how to take them apart, put them back together. That's what it's about. It's about learning. It's about teaching yourself how to do things. You know, school is great, learning is great, you're gonna build a lot of relationships, but at the end of the day, if you don't freaking sit down and go into Google and type it in and go to the library and get books and watch YouTube tutorials and watch what other people are doing to see how they're doing it and how that's going for them, then you're wasting time, in my opinion. That was my first business of many. And that's the story I want to share with you guys. Is that if a 12-year-old Matt can teach himself how to make a website, how to make fishing lures, how to make fishing rods, how to take apart fishing reels, can work my way into a wholesale account without even having a tax ID number, by participating in trade shows. You know, at one point, one of my designs, I came up with a design, it got into a magazine. But what happened was, which I'm still confused about this, I said, so, do I get a free copy of the magazine? And the guy said, no. And I said, okay. You know, I thought it was kind of weird, like, you're in the magazine, they should give you a free copy of it. He said no, and I said, okay, where can I buy it? Or something. Or I, you know, said, oh, I can't get a free copy? And then he emailed back and said, you know what? Because you asked, we're pulling you from the magazine. And that ripped my heart out. Because I was like, what do you mean you're pulling me from the magazine? You know, I'm a kid. And my dad emailed him and he said, I'm a principal and I'm trying to teach your son a lesson about asking for something or some bullshit. The guy was just an ass. If I could do all of that at that age, anyone can do anything. And I already know anyone could do anything. It's about actually bringing out that curiosity that we have as kids when you're an adult, when you're 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, until the day you die, still having that same level of curiosity. Because that's what it's about. It's about curiosity. I want to know, hey, how does that work? You know, how does that car engine work? You know, how does the iPhone work? Let me watch a tutorial online. You know what? Let me buy one. Let me take it apart. Let me see firsthand how it works. Let me experience. Let me fuck up a couple. You know, I was doing a lot of other things. I was buying and selling iPhones and I was fixing them. And let me tell you, I broke a bunch of them. That's what's going to happen. That's how you're going to learn. You're going to make mistakes. And you're going to go, okay, well, I'm not putting that screw there again. And that's what it's about. And that's my first business, Matt's Fishing Tackle. That's the full story. I hope that this, you know, provided some valuable information to you guys. I hope that you enjoyed it. I really hope that you share this video with anybody that you think could be inspired by it or anyone that could relate to it, because it's true. It's just about curiosity. It's about actually having this desire to want to learn. And a lot of people, they don't want to learn. But deep down, everybody still has that curiosity, that childish curiosity inside of them. And my goal for AverageDudeTV is to get everybody curious again. Get everybody interested again. Get everybody engaged again. That's what we want. I'd really appreciate if you share the video with anyone you think can benefit. Please subscribe to the channel. Give it a thumbs up if you like the video. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, ideas for other videos, make sure you comment them in the comment section down below. I just want to reiterate something that I said in our last video that dropped yesterday. We're looking for collaborators. Anybody. No matter what you do, I don't even care. We want to tell your story. We want you to work with us. So send us a message on YouTube. Email us. Our email is averagedudefit@gmail.com. Do what you gotta do to get in touch with us. Send us an Instagram message. Let's do this, guys. Let's start building this community up. Let's start spreading the word. Let's start encouraging people to explore their inner child. Let's do this together. Thanks for watching. AverageDudeTV out, and I'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching, guys. We hope you enjoyed the video. Make sure to subscribe, turn post notifications on, like, and comment. We appreciate the support and hope you check out our other videos.